Hello, welcome to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. And I've been wanting to put this project together for a while. When we had COVID, was that like in, 2001, 2002? What year is it? Oh my gosh, let me grab my tea. It kind of feels like forever ago, but I think it was like 2 years ago. And at that time, on my birthday, I erased my last channel. And my last channel was on Western Mystery Occult Magic, self help, life coaching, and just me. And so it was like a lot of different things. And so some people would follow me for the Western Mystery teachings of the traditional magical systems like astrology, tarot, scrying, ritual magic. Um, but then other people would meet me in public and I would share all these ideas on like kind of like spirituality. And and so they'd be like, "Oh, I want to follow you." And I'm like, well, I do have a YouTube channel, but you might not like the content because it's all about Western mystery magic and not just regular mystery magic, but deeper levels. Um, and so you might not get the life coaching that you were looking for, that wisdom guidance. Or you might not get the positive affirmation part, the upliftment, and then sometimes you would, and so it was very unclear. And I ended up with a lot of videos and 2,000 subscribers. And to make a long story short, um, I dropped it because I was going on an inner journey. I mean, I've been on one my whole life. Um, Anything mystical and mysterious, ever since I was little, that was my thing. And I always approached it as an explorer. I didn't realize, I lived on a farm. So, like in a barn, in a haunted barn. So, I mean, at one stage in my life. But so I wasn't exposed to Native Americans, literal ones. You would read about them, but you would never meet one, But then when I moved into the city, there they were. Utah is a pretty mixed melting pot of different races. So it's not uncommon to meet people from Bosnia, from Syria, and true Native Americans, then people from India, and even Muslim, and people from the Middle East. Salt Lake City is kind of a melting pot. And so, literally, one of the first people I meet at the park is this really cool Native American named Starman. And he has like a tattoo of a Merkaba on his forehead. And we saw each other from far away in the park and we were like, hey, what's up? Like, we just connected. And so that turned into a whole series of events that I'm not really talking about. Um, what I'm talking about is I was always interested in other levels of reality, mystical things, transformation. Um, and me dropping it was because I already had some years of meditation, energy meditation, that I created and channeled on a whole nother level that I've been doing for years. And I came to this point in my personal evolution as a high level Western mystery practitioner, um, a fairly well ranking martial artist, a novice yoga instructor, and I would say a novice level meditator. um, and a moderate shaman. So there's all this mystical stuff going on with me. Hello, Pisces. Do I need to say anything more? Pisces, with that other self in the astral realm, we're amazing. uh, and then with all that greatness comes all the other stuff. The But really, where we were going is what I want to present to the world. So when COVID hit, I was like, what does the world need? Does it need more techniques? Does it need more astrology readings? Does it need more tarot readings? Does it need more channeled messages? What does it need? How can I deliver this? And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to throw in the towel. I'm going to let go and let the universe tell me what to do. And the first thing it told me to do was go to the massage school, be an instructor, and while you're teaching and sharing massage, slip in all this spirituality about energy work on like this other deeper level. And I went to the interview and they thought I was too much. They like thought I was crazy. I was like I was like and my boyfriend at the time got super mad. He was so mad. He was like, he thought the worst of massage therapists. He thought people who do that stuff are like nasty people. And maybe that was programmed into him. My dad thought that as well. Um, but when I went through the massage program, it wasn't like that at all. Especially when I was going through, like in the year 1999, can you believe it? And 2000, 2001. Uh, Maybe it was just 2000, 2001. But anyways, they really were like stressing ethics and boundaries and state laws and sanitary procedures. And that really wasn't the point. But the point was healing touch, energy touch, touching with intention, moving and doing mindfully. So there was like Tai Chi class that I did not really participate in. I did Tai Chi a little bit after I graduated from my martial arts study. I studied martial arts for 15 years. During the end of that 15 years, I kind of took on some Tai Chi, some Taekwondo, and some Kung Fu. And then I said I had enough for a while and I moved on to yoga and meditation. So, kind of like full disclosure there. um, so that's why I didn't really participate too much in the Tai Chi class. Um, but there were things that I learned in class that were priceless. Like the very first day, uh, just some guy who was up there talking. I don't know if he was an administration's counselor or what. He was just in there, we were young and everything was so new and all that environment was just, it's like a different world in a massage school. It's different than regular classrooms. It's just a different, think of like the Breakfast Club on steroids. That was kind of like the other class members. People from all different ages, walks of life, backgrounds, and attitudes crammed into a room to learn about healing, to learn about energy. So, and I didn't know if I wanted to be like a healer. I wanted to learn more about anatomy for martial art reasons and for artistic reasons. Since I'm pretty good at drawing, but I'm not great, that's for sure. Like, it's a work in progress. But so this is kind of like the introduction of what is this big project. Come on, Onyx, spit it out. Well, it was a journey, and it was a journey of a lifetime of experience, with meditation energy, with tree of life, Kabbalah, working with guides, shamanism, just magic and psychism. Like, it's been this grooming process my whole life to get to the point where I was like, what the hell am I going to do? And how was this going to be? Is this going to be classes? Is this going to be a workshop? Is this going to be a book? And today I'm like, you know what? Just go for it. And so this series, I'm going to say it's going to be a series. It's going to be some videos I'm putting out on the heart chakra and being a heart healer and being heart centered. And one of my first notions to start concentrating on the heart, it echoes forward and backwards in time. So where do we begin doesn't matter. Right now, I feel like the rainbow heart. So I was reading this book on shamanism years ago, like when I was just like living on the farm still, just like right after high school. So I was 19, 20, 21. And I remember reading this page. I kind of have a crazy memory. Like, I can sometimes put myself in experiences and like remember it. So I literally kind of like remember the book. It was black, it was on shamanism. And I remember opening up the page and it talked about shamans. And then it was just like kind of general. It talked about that certain shamans believed that you travel through the dimensions through your heart. And your heart has access to what's called the Rainbow Bridge. And the Rainbow Bridge is like this network connecting you to different levels of reality, different spaces. And the shaman travels the Rainbow Road. And I was really curious about that. And being young and open, having spiritual experiences, I mean, like major spiritual experiences, it's easier to tap into that. There is no one telling me what's right, what's wrong. This is how you do it. This is the process. And I literally kind of found out that having a process spelled out for you, for me, was a hindrance. It's like painting by numbers. It doesn't really work that way, but it will work for someone who's not that way. So I did have an experience with moving through the rainbow pathways, this like network, that the roads that shamans travel in this alternate dimension. And because I had that experience, I tucked it away in my mind is, okay, I want to explore this later, or this is valuable content. Kind of during that time, so this was before the massage school because I was still living on the farm. Um, I had a friend who I believe worked at one of the New Age stores that I was reading tarot cards for. One day I just decided, you know what, I'm psychic and I can read tarot cards. And these other readers are full of shit. And I was like, why are you thinking that way? You must have like the biggest ego. And I'm like, no, there's something inside of me. I just feel that I can read these cards better than these bitches who think they're psychic. And I had to like stop myself. I'm like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, no, I have this ability. I have this gift. I know I'm psychic. I know it. So I'm having this dialogue and I just go sign up. And I'm like, I'm going to read cards here. Well, it was, that's what I said in my mind. The process was I actually worked a seasonal holiday job there. And just so happened that the girl that I was friends with was a Scorpio. And it just so happened that she helped me get the job. Like, she was like, yeah, we'll set up an interview. And since I'm like the assistant manager, I'll hire you if you're good. I didn't know anything about Scorpios. I didn't know that they're psychic. I didn't know that they're intuitive. I didn't know that she already sized me out of the crowd. I didn't know all that. So, but I got the job, and that was my first professional tarot reading job. And, anyways, long story short, I meet this guy. Didn't know he was a Scorpio. His name was PJ. I just was really attracted to his energy. He had this like sparkle in his eyes, and he was really positive, and he had this smile, and he totally embraced his sexuality. And like kind of like in that time period in Utah, that still wasn't cool. And he just really embraced his feminine, he embraced his gayness, he embraced his masculine, he embraced his body, and I was just drawn to him. He's probably one of the only Scorpios I was drawn to because he radiated like white light. So other Scorpios I'm drawn to because they have like a magnetism. Others just have a sensuality. They all have these different vibes. Like I think every single Scorpio I've met, I'm always attracted to Scorpio, and I didn't know Pisces and Scorpio get along or can get along. And so I didn't know that it was almost like karmic bound that I would always be drawn to Scorpio. So much so, looking over my life with my chart, if someone has Scorpio placement, I'm way more likely to be intrigued, accidentally run into them. Like a lot of when I started looking at my friends' charts, when I became interested, a lot of them were Aries Scorpio. I'm an Aries. My mom's an Aries. Well, we can just keep going on and on about this weird connection. But the point was, PJ had a message for me. And he came over to my house out on the farm. And sometimes I didn't like being in my room. So I'd set up tent outside. I didn't know why, but I needed to be outside. I didn't understand. It was clearing my energy. I didn't know why, but I wanted crystals around me. I didn't know why, but I threw away all the furniture, like the bed frame and everything, out of my house because I don't know. I felt, I was kind of having kind of a spiritual awakening, but yet I'm also awake. So the part of me that wasn't awake was kind of waking up. Or just going through this shift in life missions, finding oneself. Who knows what teenagers do or young adults. And he came over, and I remember we were hanging out in my tent, and he started talking about the psychic that he got a reading from. He's like, "What do you think about her? She was really amazing, and I got her book." And I'm like, well, everyone's doing their own thing. I'm just tapped in my own way. I don't really know. I wasn't, I didn't even know psychics and tarot was a thing. I didn't know there was a movement called New Age. I lived on a freaking farm of 80 acres, and all the other farmers had way more land than that. So it was like a 2 mile walk to church. So it was like, I didn't know that so many people are into magic and occult and spirituality and new age and all this stuff. So I was like, I don't know. And and he passed me the book, and I didn't really care for it. I just put it away. I was just like, whatever. And he's like, well, basically what she says is there is an eye in the heart, and the heart sees clear. And I was like, you know what? I like that concept. That's so cool. You're so magnetic, um, and cute in a charming way. Like he was like attracted to me, and back then I was gorgeous. uh, as a teenager, um, yeah, back in the day, right? And I'll be saying that when I'm 80. I'll be like, back in the day. But I was like, okay, time for you to go home. But I remembered that it stuck with me. I'm like, why is this sticking with me? And you forget it, you pack it away, you move on your journey. I go through the massage program and I decided I'm going to get a job there. And so I'm assigned to help people. They have like a clinic where people can come in on the weekend and get a discounted massage from an apprentice, like from a student. And, so I was helping regulate that. I was checking in and out people and just checking to make sure things are cool. And I remember one day at work, uh, one of the other ladies who works in the building came in. She was like tall and elegant, but really not that attractive. Like, you wouldn't just say, oh, you're so attractive. But when she walked in, I felt this energy. And I wasn't I didn't know anything about Reiki. I didn't know anything about energy work, really, just like acupressure. So I didn't know anything about all that, like formally. I don't read energy that way. And, but when she walked in, I could feel this openness in her chest. It was like a sphere about that big. And I could feel this really light, radiant, clean, stress relieving energy just pouring out her heart. Then she walked to where she was and she was doing some computer work. And then a little later, this guy comes in and he was attractive. He was older too, but he worked out and he was tall and she was tall. And then I saw them interact and I was like, oh, that's why her heart is so burst open. And I was like, I would love to have like an open heart like that. Little did I know I had an open heart and a very clean heart. I just didn't know it, you know, at the time. And then it did definitely get clogged and hurt and harmed and smashed and all that stuff too. Um, but that was another thing that just kind of goes into the box of important things. It just gets tucked away somewhere, and then so go through the mystery school and it talks about uh Tifereth, uh the sphere of the sun being the heart of the tree, and in a weird way it's balance. And go through the mystery school, it kind of seemed a little dead. It didn't have the love, it didn't have the light, it didn't have the living force. It wasn't as tangible. It was more ritualized. It was more stylized. It almost kind of, formulated and just kind of had its own kind of like dusty old Victorian library feel to it. It didn't have the vibrance of what I was feeling. And so, more tucked away information. Okay, the heart of the tree. And balance is what keeps coming back. And on the wizard's path, it's like a razor's edge. That balance can get thrown off so easy. And you don't really understand until you're there, until you're flirting with angels and demons. You don't understand until you have the choice to manipulate people or not. You don't understand if you can like ascend and never come back and say goodbye to your body when you have those options, that it's such a challenge to go, all right, I'll come back to my body, work 9 to 5, visit my mom and dad. We'd rather leave, go to another dimension, hang out with more advanced civilizations and have conversations. And so that's where you lose the balance. you can become polarized in being karmic justice or being really merciful. Balance, self-love. And so that was another part of the constellation. So, you know, obviously I wasn't going to go back and inspire the world and through the massage school as my uh, stage and stadium to inspire people in higher energetic education. No, that didn't work. And I started thinking about why the heart is so important to the Egyptians. And if it's so important, why aren't we focusing on it in mystery school, in modern day mystery school? Like, have we forgot the whole essence of it all? Does the heart hold the key to immortality? That was going on. We're coming near to the end of this little video introduction of the heart work and why I'm interested in it and why it's so important to me. I happened to meet my angel, and it was this long process of third eye opening, solar energy, golden light, serpent flying out of the clouds in visions. And but I remember when my angel took form, chose its form to interact with me with, the very first thing it did for a hello was give me a beating heart. This bright, juicy, living heart. It was giving it to me as an offering. And when the angel was doing that, it was almost like this telepathic transmission of just knowing. It was like, I was keeping this safe for you while you went through these experiences you went through with all these nasty people and horrible situations that you found yourself in. I was just like, keeping your heart safe. That's the kind of instant knowing I got when it handed me that living heart. And it was just so beautiful. And I'm going to say I'm the proud owner of a Leo 7th house. My shadow self, that Leo energy, the heart, the is a wonderful thing that I've learned to appreciate. um at least I'm assuming it is. Uh and so now here we are. And what is important is heart chakra activation. And it's not through ritual, it's through development. And how I opened up my heart, how it's led to opening up the gifts of spirituality, balance, power, self healing, and all sorts of amazing wonders that get overlooked because people neglect their heart chakra or they're viewing it in a whole love and light religious way, you know, when really it can be much more deeper and profound. I'm just gonna leave this video like that.